Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome once again to the Mania 4Key World Cup 2023. We've got our final stream of the tournament. We've got grand finals between the United States, who made it there through the winner's bracket, and South Korea defeating Indonesia in the previous match to make it here for a rematch. I am Toph Daddy, one of your commentators, and I'm joined here by Potassium F. How's it going, my friend?
I'm so excited right now. Of course, grand finals, the two strongest teams of the tournament, and they've shown that time and time again. Both of these teams have been, I think, basically everyone would say these are the two clear strongest teams that we've had in the tournament, despite so many really strong performances by a lot of, the whole top 8, I would say, even have been performing insane. But these two have been on another level for real. And now we're going to decide who's going to win it, basically.
Yeah, and because the United States did get here through the winner's bracket, they have not lost any matches this tournament. South Korea will have to defeat the United States twice in a row to take home that number one spot. The United States only has to defeat South Korea one time and they will win the tournament. But the South Korean team, they're not here to mess around. They swept Indonesia in their previous match, which, you mentioned that these two teams maybe pretty clearly the top two of the tournament. And I think the difficulty of this pool really started to show that, because Indonesia had an incredible performance in the finals pool, even like taking on South Korea in many of the picks, being very close or beating them. But then, grand finals pool comes out, it's a whole new level of difficulty, in South Korea's end game ability, which, has been one of their strong suits for a long time, just overtakes and, pushes them to a point where they're able to, get that 7-0 scoreline against a team like Indonesia.
Yeah, I've been fairly impressed with South Korea's scaling in particular. I had a bit of question marks on some of the players coming into this, obviously switching the roster around, missing some of their players like last year, Snow Scent in particular, Sudden Death as well, some of their really strong late game players. But, the likes of Yonho, YZ have really been performing extremely well in the grand finals pool so far. But that said, United States, on paper at least, this is basically a consensus that most people have. They theoretically should have some of the best scaling in the whole tournament. So it is expected that they're going to be performing pretty well as well on this pool.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to tail off of the topic, but we did just see a 100 roll in grand finals, which is quite nice.
Oh, I missed that. Oh my god. Okay, South Korea off to a good start then.
They're really coming to win this match.
Yeah, and oh wait, this is spicy. Hold on.
I saw this one coming, actually.
An SV1 Protect after both SVs were banned in the last match. South Korea, they've practiced this very clearly, and they want to be trying to win off of the United States. I believe the United States actually won last week on their SV, did they not? They had an extremely strong SV.
Yeah, they beat South Korea on the SV pick that remained open last year, and looks like both SVs are actually going to be staying open, as the United States goes ahead and protects end of system and bans Born to Lose. So that long note chart definitely not treating the United States well. And I mean, we saw South Korea have some exceptional performances on that map, so I fully understand the idea of trying to get rid of one of the LN maps.
Okay, I think you may have
spoken SV too, man.
We're not actually seeing both SVs up. It's going to be...
That's a fascinating strategy from South Korea.
Protect SV and ban SV from South Korea. They clearly have their preferences when it comes to the SV picks in this stage, it seems, and I think this is a really good first pick. If you saw some of the match that happened yesterday... Wait, what's going on here?
It looks like Vanilla Latte said the wrong map at first.
Oh, okay, wrong map. We are seeing SV1 first anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just get the protect out of the way. I've said this before in many matches, but it almost feels like you have to do something like this when it comes to SVs, just because, you don't want to interrupt the flow of the match too much if you want to, take the SV pick, because that's a whole pick you have to make, and it might be sandwiched between two maps you don't want to play, and it's also going to mess with, stamina and keeping yourself warm and all those kinds of things. So getting it done right away and making sure that you don't have to worry about that interruption later on in the match is a strategy I think we've seen a lot. Even if they're not mentally thinking that and just wanting to get the SV out of the way, it's definitely a factor that comes into account.
Yeah, it definitely also looks good. I think if any team is really, really comfortable with an SV pick, it is typically one of the first picks that you would go for. If it does get left till later, maybe you feel a little bit unsure about whether you're going to win or not, right? It kind of shows the confidence in a way where you pick it throughout the match.
Yeah, for sure. But if we're looking at just starting with the SV picks, this gives us kind of an opportunity to talk about what strategies we expect from both teams. And I mean, we already have seen a little bit of what these two teams are wanting to do. South Korea with a little trickery after seeing both SVs banned in the previous match, protects one against the US, hoping to take that point. But, against Indonesia, they were very gung-ho about, picking up all those long note picks as well. So I imagine that's probably where they're going to start after the SVs. And the United States, they've been picking Rice all tournament.
Yeah, the United States definitely has. They are a Rice team first and foremost. Still, obviously, extremely strong in every other pool, but the Rice is where they really shine. So I think we are going to see South Korea picking LNs, United States picking Rice. But for now, here, the SVs off to a good start here for South Korea after Tristan Jacob finds a little bit of an early drop down to 94%.
Yeah, early break for the United States. This map is something else. I tried playing this, and it is so confusing to read. We see Peachmail following that up with a break of their own as we get into the more difficult SVs. Very well practiced from South Korea here. Triple FC so far, lowest accuracies at that 95% range. On the United States side, we've got two players below the S rank with Cafecito holding really strong accuracy right now, but one player with strong accuracy is not going to be able to compete with what South Korea is showing here.
Yeah, we can see a very clear divide. There's three players that are absolutely destroying this chart right now, and three players that are struggling a little bit more. But for the South Korean side, they have two of those players that are holding on really well. Poker and Poker Fanboy, the duo, still on the 99% FCs, and we can see this lead is ballooning really quickly now.
Yeah, 113,000 points at the halfway mark, and we're continuing to see misses out of Peachmaro and Tristan Jacob. Poka and Poka Fanboy both holding very strong accuracies and the full combo. YZ recovering from that earlier miss and still staying above that 95%, matching Tristan Jacob at the very least. So doing what they need to do to keep the score lead in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. Just the two scores at the top are so much higher than everyone else right now. Cafecito, 99.87. This is rising, actually, now that we're getting towards the last third of the map, and Poker's still on 99.8 as well. But yeah, 2 FCs to 1. Even YZ beating out the other two players on the bottom for United States there. So this is pretty much a done pick at this point, but we're just waiting to see what kind of scores we're getting from, what is Cafecito doing right now?
Yeah, 99.8. I feel like I would have expected this from a Crew K type score, but no. This is a team that, for the past 2 years has not had a very strong SV base and just absolutely has one player to destroy this chart. But, like we said, one player having those really good scores is not going to be enough as the South Korean team takes their first point by 235,000 points.
Oh my god, 1,200 for both Poker and Cafecito there, but 995k is not something, like you said, this is a Japan, this is a Crew K level score coming out from Cafecito, but not enough to carry. Unfortunately, it's going to be South Korea winning their Protect, their first pick, so off to a good start there. But now, United States, the question is, which Rice map do they want to pick? Because it's definitely going to be one of them, right?
Yeah, I don't really know what to expect from the United States. Oh, Blue White Crazy Stars. So they're going immediately out for speed out of the gate. Really, really short map here, but I mean, it's understandable. I don't think there needs to be like any super complicated strategy on the United States side. They're just going to be picking whatever Rice picks they feel the most comfortable with at that point, just because I think it gets South Korea out of their comfort zone.
I think as well is that this kind of ties into the other advantage that the United States have. I mean, although, South Korea didn't play all that many maps, they do have knowledge on some of South Korea's scores. And this was one of the maps that was played yesterday. South Korea did have a little bit of issues on their third player playing this one in particular. So after looking at the team score from South Korea, I think the United States can be a little bit more comfortable. They have a little bit more knowledge than South Korea does at the very least.
Yeah, for sure. And this was, I believe, the only Rice pick that ended up being played in that match against...
I think there were 3.
Oh, no, I believe it was also played. So we had Rice 1 and Shine, you're right. I don't know if Rice 2 or Rice 3 are going to be like primary picks for the United States. They did seem to like them last week where it got first and second picked, but I see the United States more as like that kind of technical team.
Yeah. I think tech is definitely... I think maybe Believe It is possible looking at the team score from South Korea if United States feel comfortable, but, South Korea getting a triple FC on Shine, I don't think that's safe whatsoever for United States. So I think that's going to be left till towards the end of the match if we get there. But for now, it is the speed pick, a very short one, like you said. So single misses are going to mean a whole lot here, only 1.5 minutes long.
Yeah, so singular misses are going to be important. ERA Dev finding a miss in that opening burst there, not going to be too important as far as score and accuracy goes, but it is going to let South Korea start off with about a 2,000 point lead as we get into these first streams here. And it looks like the accuracy is actually already starting to maybe push it in the favor of the United States, but it's still very close. Oh, big drop.
Gaysol.
Yeah, Gaysol and Vanilla Latte both dropping down to that lower 99 range. Yonho's staying alive for the time being, but that's 2 players at 99.7 for the United States. ERA Dev just trying to recover from that earlier miss and extending that lead to about 6,000 points going into the second half, already halfway done.
Yeah, the combo advantage really is negligible because of how early that miss from Dev was, and now Dev's accuracy, look, 99.6 already, coming from like a 98 at the very start. That is a really impressive recovery.
Yeah, and we're seeing... Oh, Cafecito... I was about to say we have a lot of full combos. Cafecito does find a drop, but the lead is still just increasing in the side of the United States. Vanilla Latte also found a break, but it looks like it's just that accuracy from the United States that is pulling them forward. Dev up to 99.6 now, and even despite that miss from Cafecito, also at 99.6. Yonho doing what they can to keep their score very high, but again, similar to SV1, not enough to, compete with the United States' scores.
This is just an accuracy diff right here. Yonho performing really well, actually keeping up with a lot of the players on United States, but, we have essentially 2 full combos for either team if we count Devs, but the accuracy is just so much higher there for the United States. They feel that much more comfortable on this one. Of course, Nepogin with the 992K helps out a lot there.
Yeah, and I mean, the total 200 count for the United States there is actually better than 2 of the individual players on South Korea. And South Korea gets a pick, and LN1 comes out pretty much immediately. I mean, this is kind of what we're expecting. Rice versus LNs. Though with one of the LN maps banned and SV2 also being banned, South Korea is going to be running into some picking issues because all of these hybrids are really, really difficult.
Yeah, that said, we haven't actually seen any of the hybrids being played for South Korea yesterday, so their scores are still a little bit of a mystery. Maybe if they do feel comfortable with 1 or 2 of them, that might be enough to last them in terms of the picks, but to even get to that point in the first place, they're going to have to win these LN picks, and that's no easy job here. They did have a really, really strong team score on this map yesterday, I will say that.
Yeah, they did, but like you said, it's going to be a tough task to even take all of the long note picks. I believe they actually did lose one or two of them last week in finals, though with the extra bump in difficulty, maybe they're hoping that the overall LN ability, like an endgame LN ability, is going to be able to carry them to a few points in this long enough pool.
Yeah, especially one like this, right? Very coordination-focused one, very hard to be comfortable on, and it's also almost 4 minutes long. So we're going straight from one of the, pretty much the shortest pick in the pool to, I think this is the longest pick, actually. So
yeah, even the stamina pick is not this long in the rice pool, and I don't know if anything gets that close outside of, you know, the tiebreaker.
Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be a bit of a marathon. Very hard to stay focused, stay composed and coordinated for the entire length of this one. Because as with LN charts in general, you don't really get that many breaks, because even during the break sections, you're going to have to hold some notes.
We are going to have to hold some notes. And doing that with nerves is no easy task, especially with, like you said, the extreme coordination that's required for this map.
Yeah, so definitely expect less full combos on a map like this than what we just saw. So it'll come down a lot to the consistency between the players, you know, making sure you can maintain the accuracy, which is easier said than done on something like this, but we'll see. Both teams off to a very good start, at least, very early on into the map.
Yeah, no major issues coming out. The accuracy actually is slightly in favor of the US in this earlier section, though. Oh, Vanilla Latte actually does find a drop there, which is going to help the US start off with a lead, but it's traded back by Nepogym. Accuracy still kind of even across the board. Gaisel slightly ahead of all the United States players. YZ slightly behind, and then Vanilla Latte just, I think, making a slight difference, allowing the United States to take that 1,000-point lead that they have right now.
Vanilla Latte slowly climbing back up now at 99.3. This lead is still in favor of United States. Nepogym also climbing the accuracy a little bit. But this is fairly negligible. One miss going to be the difference between either team taking it. But it looks like it's growing just a little bit. YZ now dropping in accuracy down to 99.1. That's going to give USA a definite accuracy advantage now.
Yeah,
another miss.
Yeah, Vanilla Latte with a second miss. Still two full combos on both sides, but Vanilla Latte finding a little bit of a rush there, not able to find their footing in a couple of those patterns. And that balloons the lead up to 12,000 points in the United States with a little bit of wiggle room. Hello Sun dropping, trading one of those breaks back from Vanilla Latte. So now it's 2 full combos to 1 in favor of South Korea, but that accuracy helping the United States stay afloat as Hello Sun finds yet another break.
Yeah, very low accuracies from, well, relatively, from YZ and Vanilla Latte. That's really helping the United States out. Gaisol still matching pretty much the best accuracy on United States as well, matching Nepogym's accuracy. So it really is Cafecito and Hello Sun being, 0.4% just above YZ and Vanilla Latte right now. But it looks like Vanilla Latte is recovering somewhat, managing to make it up to 99.1 just about now.
Yeah, passing YZ in that accuracy, just trying to keep their composure together. Can't really afford any more misses, or the United States might just start running away with this point. It's still within striking range if the United States starts to find a few chains of, combo breaks, or even just accuracy loss could start swinging this and helping South Korea. But right now, we're still seeing insane amounts of combos. Lowest right now in the lobby, well, is Hello Sun, who's just dropped. It was about 2,000, but clearly every time I'm about to talk about their combos, someone has to break.
Yeah, speaking of combos, we actually still have 3 full combos in the lobby, by the way. 2 of them on South Korea's side, never mind, just 1 of them on South Korea's side, because Gaisol finds a miss.
We're on a roll today. Yep. This is perfect for Grand Finals.
Traded out by Nepogym, but that's going to leave this score lead, 14,000 points in the lead for United States. This is a very nice buffer for them, especially on a long map such as this. It's going to take quite a few misses in a row. Hello Sun's going to...
Yeah, they started the trip there with 1 miss from Hello Sun, but that lead is still about 12,000, and Vanilla Latte does trade that back. So still having a few issues. Slow section catches Hello Sun off guard yet again, but with Vanilla Latte's miss and trade, doesn't really affect the score difference for the time being. Everyone above the 400 combo now, so we're getting max points. And that accuracy lead for the United States helping ever so slightly as we start approaching the final bits of the chart.
Yeah, oh, there's the last full combo on the United States gone, so Cafecito missing, but the accuracies are still being intact, and we can see, despite the misses from all of the United States players, actually, hang on a second, all of them miss now.
Oh,
another one from
Neptune with another miss, running out, Vanilla Latte, trading it back and forth, but it's not going to be enough, and the United States is going to be able to take the first break point of the match by 9,700 points. Really close call there, especially with all those misses coming out towards the end, but YZ with a full combo on that map.
Full combo, but lowest accuracy as well. Bit of a trade-off there, so it ends up, I guess, neutral, you would say?
I mean,
somewhere in the middle of the pack in terms of score.
They matched up with Hello Sun in terms of score based on that FC, and Gaesol actually had the MVP in that lobby. It just ended up being the difference between Vanilla Latte and the other two players on the United States, which allowed the U.S. to take that lead in the end. And believe it, comes in Rice 2 immediately.
Another one that United States have the information on South Korea for this one, so feel confident that they can potentially beat South Korea's team score that they got yesterday. And of course, this one's a really fast one as well, so it does kind of play into the physicality a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at 286 BPM jump stream, if that already wasn't enough, these patterns are brutal. Like, maybe the hardest jump stream patterns I've ever seen in my life. So I would imagine that the United States feels comfortable picking this, or at least feels comfortable compared to the performances we saw from South Korea on this in the previous match. But there are so many spots for errors in this map, just based on how consistent the patterns are with the one-hand trills and the long anchors throughout it. At this speed, it's just really brutal.
Yeah, no, 2 minutes as well. It's not that long, especially compared to the last map that we just saw. Definitely gonna have some big score swings if we do have a few misses coming out from either side.
Yeah, though despite the shorter length than many of the other picks in the pool, this may be one of the most stamina draining, just based on, you know, the very anchory, maybe uncomfortable types of patterns throughout.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any breaks as well once you get into the longer stream sections for this, so it definitely does push your stamina quite a lot.
We've got our MP start command. The United States looking to capitalize on an early break point and extend that lead to 3-1. South Korea looking to even it back out and hope to take their first break point of the match. But, you know, second pick from the United States, it almost feels like a safety pick, you know?
Yeah, I think United States definitely still in their comfort zone. Oh, that's
what is going on with the US? That was
okay. That was
okay.
Yeah,
maybe it's Klein just messing with us today. There's been a lot of early misses today.
So all the combos actually intact for now, as we're at the very start of the map. Early accuracy lead just in a little bit in favor of the United States. Nepogin and Iradev looking very comfortable. 99.95 for both of them. But Gaesol not too far behind, actually.
Yeah, we've got 4 players at that 99.9 range. Cafecito dropping just out of it. Yanho just a little bit behind, but that accuracy difference from YZ here giving the United States a very slight lead, but we still do have... Okay.
Oh, okay, that's a real miss this time from Nepogin.
It is a real miss. I have to mention that I was just about to mention the combos again. I swear they can hear me. They are listening to this like
They've
live.
Got the stream open, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not even because the stream would be lagged behind. They're listening in this call.
They're in the call right now. Whenever they hear the word combo, they're like, okay, time to miss.
I didn't even say combo.
Okay, YZ now actually going to trade it back, but this one actually accompanied by a really big act drop. Look at this, down to 99.2. That was up at 99.6, 99.7 just before, so massive score swing in the favor of United States, 15,000 points immediately. And despite the miss, Nepogin still has 99.8. Gaesol now finding a miss as well for South Korea.
Yeah, that lead is starting to skyrocket a little bit. Looks like the stamina might be hitting the South Korean team just a little bit. 2 full combos to 1. Yanho keeping up with the accuracy of Cafecito. Gaisel, a pretty clean drop there as well, managing to hold on pretty close to ERA Dev. It's just that difference between YZ and Nepogen, but that is a miss from Yonho, and that is the last FC gone from South Korea, as we still have 2 remaining on the United States with a 40,000 point lead going into the final few patterns.
This is going to be an absurd team score. We have 2 full combos, 1 single miss, and Nepogen still has the highest accuracy in the entire room.
7 in grand finals?
Oh my god.
Nepogen with only 1-200.
The ratio on Nepogen.
That too. 177 is pretty crazy. 4 200s coming out from Yonho with the 1 miss. So keeping his team in the running for it. Gaisel doing quite well themselves. A large part of that score gap just came from that 1 chain of misses that YZ saw earlier, like midway through the map.
Yeah, this is just a team score that's hard to beat. I mean, almost impossible to beat, you would have to say.
Yeah, there's not much you can do against that.
And South Korea really on the back foot now, because they're going to have to win one of these Rice picks from the United States if they want a chance to come back. They're also going to have to win the remaining LN picks. I think one of those LN picks might be coming out now unless they decide to go towards a hybrid.
I would imagine long notes is the right call here. I could see Mugen Huyo coming out from South Korea. They did win the speed long no pick from the previous round, and it looks like South Korea is actually going to be calling a timeout, trying to get themselves back together, looking to, make sure they have the right pick, make sure that all the nerves are gone, make sure that anything that all their ducks are in a row,
Yeah, definitely a really important really important moment in the match for South Korea now, because they have to get on the board now. They can't afford a second break point, so there is no room for error against a team like the United States.
Yeah, no room for error, and the United States successfully capitalized on the first break point that they got, and that the more time goes on in this match, if the South Korea is not able to return the favor and take a break point of their own, the more pressure gets put on South Korea, just because of how strong the United States is and how capable they are of even taking more break points, especially once we start getting closer to that hybrid pool.
Well, it looks like they got a bit of a nosebleed issue on the side of South Korea, so taking a bit of a moment to get that sorted.
Yeah, we got a medical timeout here.
Yeah, I do think the LN picks, I mean, if they do end up going with the hybrid, what do you think would be the better hybrid to go for South Korea?
It's really hard to say. Maybe Apocalypse Ray? I think that one is the easiest of the hybrids in this pool.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it definitely is probably the most straightforward out of them. But
I think the biggest problem with it is that it's so, there's so much Rice difficulty on top of it that I think it's hard to want to pick that against a team like the United States. And if we're going off of just long note potential for these hybrids, you've got Angel Echo there, which is a little bit more on the long note heavy side, but it's also maybe the hardest map in the pool.
Yeah, we've seen what the scores are like. I believe we saw that in the show match, if anyone was watching that one. Very, very low scores, and if you compared to the rest of the maps, if you see Muka getting 966k, that's how the map is kind of insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of tricky patterns. It's very easy to find multiple drops in a row, and the accuracy, it's OD7, but that's for that map, OD7 is really high.
Yeah, OD7 is actually crazy for an Abraxos style map. None of those releases are even remotely timeable or hackable.
Yeah, not to mention the gaps between some of the mini jacks and some of the faster patterns are not super comfortable.
So I guess maybe in a way that kind of works as a bit of a Hail Mary pick, just to throw everything in the air. Just hope that United States tank a little bit harder than Korea. But for now, it's going to be sticking to the standard picks, standard LN picks. you would say. This is the density one, another fairly short one coming out for the LNs this time.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the South Korean team is doing pretty much the same exact thing they did against Indonesia, which was picking the LN picks all in a row. They picked it LN1, LN2, LN3, and then LN4 in their match against Indonesia, and it looks like they're just going to do the same thing here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a plan that you would definitely... I mean, I have to agree with it, because it's not like you're going to be picking any of the Rise picks, and we've already kind of mentioned how dangerous a lot of these hybrids can be, so it really does feel like they have to go for these LNs, and they have to win them if they want to be able to come back.
Yeah, for sure. This is where that momentum has to start shifting in South Korea's favor if they want to take this further. But the United States, very strongly, have already taken one LN point. I could see them taking another, though I think LN2 and LN3 are going to be the maps that, maybe South Korea would feel more comfortable with. I feel like the United States is going to be more comfortable with this than, say, LN1 or LN4, which they banned. But I also just get the feeling that South Korea is going to be so comfortable on this that they could just, outperform the United States, even if they also feel comfortable on it.
Just mentioning as well, we're also seeing Poker being subbed in for this one on South Korea. Not something that I would have necessarily expected, because I believe Poker didn't play this pick yesterday either, and also hasn't been playing any of the regular Rice or LN picks so far today, but we'll see what their score is, because if Poker's subbed in, kind of gets me thinking maybe the accuracy is going to be a bit better for South Korea this time.
Potentially, and maybe they were putting, their not strongest roster in the previous match, or maybe Poker just wasn't available. So far, very strong start from everyone here. YZ a little behind in the accuracy, Cafecito just ahead, but this lead is basically nothing, as Gaisel and Poker are pretty much just handling Hello Sun and Epigen's accuracies match for match. It literally is just the difference between YZ and Cafecito right now.
Even that's a tiny difference as well. You can see actually now Poker but two drops from the United States.
1 FC to 2 right now, and that gives South Korea a little bit of a lead. The accuracy is still relatively similar across the board. It looks like South Korea might actually have a little bit of an accuracy lead. Poka's dropped very, very clean compared to Hello Sun, and that's a 7,000 point lead. And Nepogen misses right on the end of one of those notes, and that's going to help South Korea hold on to an even larger lead as we get into the final third of this map. Still two full combos to one, and Nepogen finding another miss.
It's such a hard section right here. Everyone, so many people holding on here. Hello Sun finding another miss. Traded with Gaisol though. But it looks like the drop from Hello Sun is a little bit more. This lead is increasing as we get into the end of the map, but a double miss for South Korea.
Still one full combo on each side, and it looks like the accuracies are still stronger on the South Korean side as we come into the final few bits of this map. But Cafecito in the break drops their full combo, and it's just YZ remaining with that full combo going into the ending, and it looks like South Korea, barring any huge mistakes here in the ending, should be able to hold on to their own point and keep the United States away from taking a second breakpoint early on in this match.
Yeah, everyone handles those last patterns nicely. 11,000 points, really strong showing here from South Korea. Full combo for YZ, the only one in the lobby. And this accuracy, well, it's close. It's close, actually.
It is very close in accuracy across the board. 12 200s coming out from both Nepogen and YZ. 20 coming out from both Hello Sun and Gaisol. It's just Poka a little behind in the 200 game, but the combo game saved South Korea on that pick, and they're able to take one of the long note points away from the United States. But it is the United States pick. They have a whole rice pool to work with.
And now it's going to be the Protect coming out. End of system, the tech pick, well, the first technical map that we're going to be seeing at least.
Yeah, maybe the most, when you think of tech, there's a few things that I think people do think of, but I think this map is the most, tech map of them all. It's mini Jackie, it's bursty, it's got a lot of varying patterns. I think it more so than the other two tech picks in the pool, which, Rice 6 being more of a speed and burst type of tech with awkward patterns, and then Rice 7 being more of that, I don't even know how to describe Rice 7.
Dumpy kind of like stream tech.
It's like jump stream tech almost with mini jacks, stamina tech maybe. I don't know. That's not the pick we're worrying about right now though. Rice 5 comes out end of system. They protected it for a reason. I imagine their scores are quite good, but as far as the technical picks in this pool go, I think this one is the easiest of them, which would lead me to believe that South Korea could put up a good fight on this. But we'll have to see how all of the performances come along, especially with some of those harder patterns in this map.
Yeah, interested just looking at the rosters right now. Of course, Dev coming in for the United States is expected, but Yonho I would expect to come in for South Korea, replacing maybe one of these players. Or not. I do feel like Yonho has been one of the strongest performing Rice players, at least for South Korea. But maybe they're sticking with the 3 here. Of course, they still have very strong physical ability on these 3.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a little surprised to not see Yonho in.
But okay, it looks like this is going to be the 3 here. Maybe.
No, there it is. No? Okay, Yonho's in.
Okay, replacing Gaesel. Okay, interesting. So we'll see how this goes. I do think that South Korea, I mean, we've seen United States accuracy. I think United States pretty much guaranteed has the accuracy advantage on a map like this. So South Korea is going to have to rely on the combo. They're going to have to hold on to the combo as much as possible and hope that United States get a couple breaks, which is definitely possible on technical maps like this.
I do think that that's kind of just it, right? Because the United States has such strong accuracy. You know, a team like South Korea also has great accuracy, but when you're talking about players like Dev and Neptune, who have shown such a lock on that accuracy, in South Korea's head, it almost feels like they have to mentally prepare to maybe let go of a few 200s more than they would have liked to, and just make sure that they're gripping on that combo as much as they can. But Yonho, unfortunately, finding an early drop, it is before 400, going to affect the score a little bit less than a miss from here on out would. But that is still going to give the United States a respectable lead coming out of the first quarter.
Yeah, but look at these accuracies right now. The name of the game for United States, 99.9 on 2 of the players, and Vanilla Latte drops the combo once again, so 2 misses from South Korea already. United States still with the triple full combo and the ACK lead. This is a big early lead now, almost 20,000 points.
Yeah, and it's going to take a few drops from the United States now, maybe upwards of 4 or 5. And I think even one of them might have to be a little bit dirtier than we've been seeing the misses earlier on in this match. But the United States still with that triple full combo, and Neptune holding above a 99.9 as we start getting into some of these more brutal patterns. Yonho finding another drop in YZ, dropping the final full combo on the side of the South Korean team.
First miss coming in from Team USA from Neptune, but that is the cleanest miss I have seen in a good while. Still 99.8 despite the miss.
Yeah, we are seeing a little bit of an accuracy drop on the United States side as well. Cafecito actually in the 99.5 range. YZ actually having a stronger accuracy than Cafecito right now. It's really just a combo keeping the United States in the game, and that absolutely insane accuracy from the bottom row of the United States team. All the combos back to normal. South Korea finding some footing and trying to increase that accuracy, but a traded miss right there between Dev and Vanilla Latte is not going to help the South Korean team make it back in, and Yonho adds another miss to that, and looks like the United States gonna ride their way to a 4th point.
Yeah, that is going to be a very convincing one at the end. 52,000 points. The only FC here being on Cafecito, I believe.
But and once not getting again, MVP on that one, though.
Yeah, Neptune's accuracy. Neptune's
no
accuracy
200s,
is just
no
crazy.
200s. I don't know how that happens.
I mean, without the miss, without the 100, that would be close to what, 996k? I think
like that. Something like
insane.
That. That's a 1 to 25 ratio. So,
oh my god. Yeah, so United States pretty good at the game. We've established this fact.
Pretty good. South Korea also pretty good. They have a long note pick remaining. They got Mugen Huyo right there, ready to go. They did win the density pick. I imagine South Korea is going to have a pretty good shot of holding on to their own point here. I think especially with how they performed on the Rice 3 from the previous pool in finals, because the United States had a lot of trouble holding on to combo in that map last week, and South Korea was able to just run away with that point. I imagine they're hoping something similar happens this week.
Yeah, but that said, United States, they only have 3 points they have to win, and they don't even have to touch Shine. They can pick the other 3 Rice maps, and if South Korea is not that comfortable on any of these last 3 Rice maps, then that could just be it. But for now, it has to be LN3. This is the only real pick that I can see for South Korea being that strong, especially after how LN2 went. I think that's the obvious choice here, and it looks like they are going for it, yeah.
Yeah, there is the pick. Filling out that long note pool, last LN pick remaining in the pool for South Korea. They're really going to want to win this if they want a chance to stay in. Losing 2 breakpoints to the United States might just be a death sentence. Especially now that they don't have any more long note picks after this. They're going to start having to move into that hybrid pool, or, pick a Rice pick, which the United States has been showing very strong performances on. I could definitely see South Korea wanting to go with like a Rice 4 pick over one of the hybrids, especially if they don't feel physically strong enough to handle some of those hybrid patterns in comparison to the United States. But it really comes down to what they're comfortable with at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely imagine something like Shine coming out as well. If South Korea they feel comfortable with getting, a couple of FCs, that might be enough, even with an accuracy advantage. FCs can win over a few missed scores.
Yeah, and I mean, South Korea triple FC'd Rice 3 in the previous match, so 1 or 2 misses from the United States absolutely could open the door for them to take a point on a Rice pick.
So we'll see. Definitely some opportunities here. But as you said, 2 breakpoints might be a bit too much. 1 potential.
But it starts here. They're like we were mentioning, LN3 been a pretty comfortable spot for South Korea to be in over the past few weeks. Did beat the United States on it last week. Had a good score on it against Indonesia earlier this weekend. Hoping to keep that mojo going and just, looking to keep themselves in this match for the time being.
Yeah,
trying to set themselves up so that they can take a break point and still, even out this match. But that LN1 score is pretty scary early on in that match. You just got to hope that you can hold on to the accuracy and the combo better than they were on that map. And this one's a lot shorter, so I imagine combo is not going to be as big of a deal as it was on LN1 there.
Yeah, also, a little bit less coordination focus. Maybe you would say this one's a little bit more similar to LN2 than it is to LN1. A lot faster than LN1, that is for sure. We can see the rolls already out the gate there. A few accuracy drops coming in. Cafecito dropping combo as well as the accuracy now, down to 98.7. That's giving South Korea a very nice early lead so far.
Yeah, about 7,000 points there. Cafecito actually having a little bit of trouble bringing that accuracy back up. It's still below that 99%. Nepogen does find a break. It's traded back by YZ there.
But a second break from Nepogen, actually. So this lead is going to start growing a little bit more. And the accuracy lead actually in favor of South Korea really solidly. Poker beating Hello Sun. Hello Sun finding a miss as well. Hang on a second. This is actually a really strong performance right now from South Korea. 26 points in the lead so far, but YZ finds a miss. That's going to put a little bit of a dent in this score lead.
Yeah, quite a heavy accuracy drop with that miss as well, down to the lower 99s. But Cafecito still underneath that 99% range, wasn't able to recover their accuracy enough to get back above the 99%. 22,000 points in the lead. Gaesel drops the full combo for the South Korean side. Poke is the only one left with a full combo with a strong accuracy, highest in the whole lobby. Gaesel doing a good job keeping up with Hellosun and Nepigen as well. And it's going to take a few more drops from South Korea if the United States wants to take this, but this looks like a very strong pick for South Korea. Okay. Hellosun does trade that back. So South Korea will be able to protect their own pick. They finish out the long note pool with a point, with a strength, and they keep themselves in the match. They keep themselves within one breakpoint of the United States, and, it's back to the United States pick. They could start getting that momentum back right now if they're able to take a rice point away from the United States.
Yeah, it's within 1 point. We can see here 4-3. So it's not like United States is out of the woods just yet. But South Korea, they're going to have to win one of these rice picks. And, I'm still looking at those last two rice picks at the end there. Cortex Charge are going to be the pick right away here.
Indeed, one of our custom songs for this round, one of three. I have seen some of the scores from the United States.
I imagine they're pretty good. They're okay. They're all right.
They're all right. They're pretty good. But this is also an interesting pick, in my opinion, because there's so much of a stamina requirement for the types of patterns within this. There are definitely a lot of technical patterns. There's lots of mini jacks and bursts throughout this, some rhythmic awkwardness in certain spots. But I think as far as the physical requirement for those mini jacks, it's not as pervasive as it was in Rice 5. So I could imagine South Korea almost treating this similar to a jump stream, or just a jump stream chart where they can just hammer down the combo.
But even then, if you look at the last tech pick that we just saw, even if the combos were intact, I feel like the accuracy was just so strong from United States that even with 3 full combos, it feels like maybe that's not even enough.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it ends up going, though. The United States has been having a little bit of combo troubles throughout this match. So I could definitely see them starting to find some issues, especially as they start digging deeper and deeper into this rice pool, as they get further and further away from the things that they're most comfortable with, though. We talked earlier, before the match started, that the United States was a technical team. They're very much... maybe the strongest technical team in the whole tournament, and they've showcased that on at least Rice 5, but they have some more work to do if they want to showcase that on Rice 7 as well.
Let's see, off we go here. And right into these patterns, Yonho with an early break down to 98.3, actually big accuracy drop, so United States, 10,000 points already.
And ballooning up to 14,000 with that miss from Gaesel. 2 misses out of South Korea, 1 full combo remaining for them, 3 full combos remaining for the side of the United States, and the accuracy lead on top of that combo just absolutely mind-boggling. Gaesel
that's crazy.
Getting back up to the combo limit, but actually dropping below the 99% range there. Climbing back up a little bit in this jack section. YZ doing their best to keep themselves within range of the United States players.
Cafecito does find a miss as well, but it's fairly clean still at 99.6, and Yonho also increasing the accuracy. So this lead, it's not getting too much higher than it was before. Still remaining manageable for South Korea, but they're going to have to bring up the accuracies a lot more here. Gaesel now 99.1, so above the 99 once more.
Yeah, they've got to bring up that accuracy, or hope that the United States starts falling apart. We are still only halfway through this map. Still opportunity for a lot of misses to happen, a lot of stamina issues to come around, but that accuracy lead is only helping the United States stretch this lead out, slowly increasing it over time. Up to 30,000 now in Yonho, finding another break. Looks like they might be having some stamina issues.
Yeah, Gaesel missing earlier as well, back all the way down to 98.8 now after that miss. Nepigen trades, but that is... How does Nepigen miss so cleanly every time? It's crazy. But another miss from Nepigen, not going to matter though, because this score lead is massive. 45,000 points, still massive act lead for the United States. Gaesel with another miss here. And it is one full combo each, but
I was just about to mention that. YZ having some very impressive accuracy as well. ERA Dev actually does find the drops, so the only full combo left on the board is from YZ right now. But the accuracy is just way too much for South Korea to handle right now. Two players at the low 99 range for South Korea. The lowest on the United States is Cafecito right now at 99.5.
And there goes the full combo at the very end. Last 2 seconds, YZ loses it. So no full combos, and United States with an extremely strong performance once again. All three players 980k.
Yeah, absolutely mind-boggling scores. 5 200s from two of the U.S. players. Some good scores out of South Korea as well. 18 and 16 200s, still very good. 41 just behind that 99% mark. And South Korea immediately going with hybrid too.
Oh, okay. This is we did talk about this one. It is coming out. The bit of a Hail Mary, bit of a wacky pick, you would say.
Yeah, a little wacky. First hybrid we've seen in either of the two grand finals matches. We did see this in the show match, as we mentioned before, where Mucci was not able to even hit 970k. So the map's a little hard.
Yeah. And that was also MVP performance, so no one else, of course, was able to match Mucci either with the 966k. So we're not going to see very high scores, that's for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past these players to get some pretty nasty scores on this. I don't know about any of the performances, though. We didn't see this in the earlier match between South Korea and Indonesia. The United States obviously hasn't played this yet on any stream. So it's going to be a little bit of a mystery. I honestly, in my own head, I'm thinking whoever combos this better is the winner.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking as well. You know, if South Korea is going to rely on combo to try and win the points, this is probably the map to do it, because if you manage to get a really strong combo with the low scores that we're expecting to be able to see here, high combo can just carry you. Absolutely, in a map like this.
Yeah, I mean, with OD7, like we mentioned, that OD7 is still, like, for an Abraxas map, it is pretty high with the kind of patterning that we're seeing, but it does mean that there's a little bit of looseness with the accuracy, and focusing on combo is not going to it's not going to impact your score quite as heavily as it would on some of the other maps that we've seen in the pool. Early miss from Cafecito gives the South Korean side a little bit of a lead early on. It is before 400 combo. Yonho trading that back as well before the 400 combo mark. And the United States takes a big lead off of some of these accuracy drops.
Yeah, big accuracy drops for Yonho and Cafecito, but Vanilla Latte finding a miss down all the way down to 98.6 as well. Yonho finds another miss also. Now Cafecito's already managed to get back up to above 99, but oh look, everyone's missing now. Hello Sun and Vanilla Latte both trading.
Two full combos left. We got YZ and Nepogen with the full combos. Cafecito basically has a full combo, just missed right out of the gate there. But even so, big combos. This, I keep mentioning it, but what is Nepogen's accuracy right now?
It is absurd. 99.66. Hello Sun finds a bit of a miss there, but traded by YZ. That's all the full combos from South Korea gone. Finding another miss for YZ. This is big act drop. Nepogen and Yonho and YZ all missing now.
Actually, huge accuracy drops from pretty much everyone. Only Nepogen above 99% at all after that section.
And that's going to favor the United States. 24,000 points in the lead and two misses from South Korea. Cafecito trading one of them. Hello Sun trading the other one. So back and forth the misses go.
It's all just about the accuracy difference right now. Both teams are able to keep combo about as well as the other. I think Nepogen's just making a huge difference with that 99.3% accuracy. Yonho finding a chain of misses here. Not traded back by the United States that time, and extends the lead to about 34,000 as this section is really not treating Yonho very well.
Yeah, this is a really rough one. If you start missing, it is so easy to chain misses here. YZ finds another one as well. Now this lead is kind of getting away from them. Nepogen does find a miss, but once again, the cleanest miss I've ever seen.
I don't know how you get clean misses on this map at all.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. But Neptune finding another one, this one dropping all the way down to 99.3 from 99.4. Not going to affect the score whatsoever. This is another break point for United States.
Yeah, some really impressive scores all around from these players. About a 50,000 point lead. We have 5 players above 950k though.
Yeah,
that's just a good overall score, I think. This map is so hard to get good accuracy and combo and score on. It's very impressive that these players were able to get so many high scores on this map.
Yeah, these are actually much higher scores than what I was potentially anticipating as well. So United States managing to take that away from South Korea. That is 2 break points now. South Korea have to win 3 points in a row to force a tiebreaker, to force a bracket reset.
Ooh, whoa, so, Rice 4 comes out.
Oh, this is an interesting. I was expecting maybe Rice 6 to come out, but here we're getting the Jack pick. A little bit of an interesting one here.
But yeah, I don't know about this pick. This is definitely starting to get into the territory of potential breakpoints for South Korea. Definitely more so than the previous picks that we've been seeing. Because South Korea's Jack team is very strong, and I don't think they're going to be backing down on this kind of map. Like 167 BPM is fast, but South Korea is also very fast.
Yeah, Core Jack is always that kind of skill set that's separate from all the Rice maps. You can't really treat this as just another one of the Rice maps the United States are gonna, have that accuracy lead and just run away with. This is something that is very dangerous. If the players in South Korea can keep up with the BPM, with the patterning, which I think they definitely have the capability of doing, then this one could get extremely close. Like we even saw, last week, 1 point. The difference between Japan and United States. Was that last week? No, that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Jacks are one of those skill sets that you're either really good at or you're really not good at. And when the BPMs get this high, I could definitely start to see some of these players maybe having issues keeping combo consistently throughout it. It's kind of weird in that I'm in a position where I would have almost expected the United States to pick like Hybrid 3 before this.
Yeah, I mean, especially after seeing that Hybrid 2 performance, maybe some of the more physical hybrids might favor United States as well. But, well, this has been picked right now. Maybe a chance for South Korea to come back into this one. A long road ahead of them, of course.
They got to win the next 3 points in a row at the very least. They got to win the next. Well, technically, they have to win the next 4. Yeah. But the 4th pick would have to be tiebreaker, and that's a scary prospect, just like in anyone's head.
Well, no matter what happens, I'm always praying that we're getting a tiebreaker, of course, in the grand finals. But easier said than done here. United States. I mean, despite all we've said about this pick, it definitely does feel like United States should have a bit of an advantage here if we're only talking about the accuracies.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, we're opening up with Yonho finding an early break that is, again, going to be before 400 combo. Not going to affect the score as much as it will once we hit 400 combo, but United States with an early 4,000 point lead in this early section. Something else to really note about this Jack pick is that it's a little bit different from the Jack picks that we have been seeing for the rest of the tournament because it is 3 minutes and 15 seconds. The stamina aspect of this is no joke.
And when we're talking about stamina as well, we have seen, some of the South Korean players have run out of stamina a little bit towards the end of some of these picks as well, some of the longer maps. So United States may be a little bit favored in that regard. Yonho finds another miss. That's the second one for South Korea. Ak lead also very strongly in favor of United States. Vanilla Latte finds a miss as well, actually. This lead's going to start to balloon a little bit.
Just a little bit. We're up to 16,000 points as we hit the next break in this map. Not very long one, but still get it.
Lowest accuracy right now, just saying, on United States is 99.87.
Oh, and the final full combo on the side of South Korea does find a break. Gaesol finding a second one there as Vanilla matches it. And Gaesol may be starting to hit those stamina issues a little bit earlier than I would have expected. for that to happen, but that is no full combos for South Korea versus 3 right now on the side of the United States. Just so far, an absolutely dominant performance in both combo and accuracy from this team.
This is a monstrous team score. What are they doing? Dev finally the first one to make a mistake here for United States, finding a miss, but still 99.82. This accuracy is way above everyone else on South Korea. Yonho's doing decently, actually. 99.74, recovering from the earlier misses very well.
Yeah.
The second miss from Dev, not really going to dent the score a whole lot.
There's another one. The South Korean side has recovered their combo. All 3 of them back above 1,000 combo and trying to keep themselves consistent. No breaks so far. They are still fighting against 2 FCs on the side of the United States. But with those misses from Dev, we could absolutely start seeing a few drops. There definitely is some wiggle room for this United States squad here, but if they're not out of the water yet, they still have a quarter of this map. They still have some stamina that they need to make sure that they hold on to as everyone holds on to the combo. But Yonho does find a drop for South Korea. Extends that lead to 31,000 as we're getting into the final patterns, and I think there has to be a meltdown now for the United States to give up this point.
Yeah, there's just no time left, and it's looking like they're going to seal this one in. Iridev finding a miss at the very end, but not really going to matter too much. Accuracy still very high. And they're going to keep the 2 full combos as well. MVP going over to Nepozhin. 99.88 is crazy.
996 on a Grand Finals map.
Oh my god. But congratulations, United States win the Osumania 4-Key World Cup 2023 for the first time since 2015, actually, which is crazy.
Yeah, we've seen the United States be so dominant, at least making it to the top 3, and it's just they never got the W since that 2015 run. But that is going to be it for this match. South Korea taking 3 points off of the United States, coming up from losers after winning against Indonesia for their shot, and unfortunately do not make it through the grand finals against the United States.
Yeah, congratulations here, Team United States, winning after being a top 3 team, it feels like, for so long, for the past, 8-9 years or so, feeling like they've always been in that upper echelon, but never quite winning it until now. So this is their year. They get number 1. Congratulations to them. And also congratulations to the whole podium. Of course, we also have South Korea in 2nd place and Indonesia in 3rd place as well, with really strong showings themselves.
Yeah, new podium finisher in Indonesia. So yeah, huge congrats to all 3 of those teams. But with that, I think we still have a little bit more that we want to show off here.
Yeah, as is customary, we should have a little bit of a tiebreaker showcase, perhaps. We'll wait until that one's ready in just a bit, I assume.
Just making sure everything is ready to go for that. But yeah, what an insane tournament that we've gotten to showcase here. It's kind of hard to think about how all these performances went from all these teams. Like we've already mentioned, first time podium finisher in the 4-Key Mania World Cup in Indonesia, making it all the way there. Not to mention these map pools, they were so difficult, way more difficult than previous years, and we were still seeing all of our top 3, our grand finalists, absolutely destroying the maps. Even finals was getting up there. We saw those teams putting in performances of a lifetime. And, that's not to discount all 32 teams who made it into the bracket and all of the teams that didn't make it into the bracket, putting on a wonderful show for us all to see here. I've had a great time watching this tournament. I think it really may be my favorite tournament thus far in the series.
Yeah, as a whole, I think this tournament was absolutely insane. And I think the story as well for me has been all of these other teams, not necessarily the top 3 teams, but everyone else kind of in the pack just below top 8 top 10 kind of range. So many of those teams have shown up massively this year, improved their performances, improved their teams. And we've seen, teams like Thailand go extremely deep, Chile now being extremely strong as well. Really close performances out of, China, all of those teams in the top 8 as well, Japan making it really far. So many of those matches were tiebreaker matches, extremely close. It feels like we could have like 5 different potential teams beat the third place team right now. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go without an emphasis that there were so many unbelievably close matches. I feel like this tournament did the best job of showcasing not sweeps. We had an unfortunate sweep between South Korea and Indonesia this weekend, but I think everything before that was just such unbelievably good matches. We had 2 tiebreakers in the finals this year. We had multiple tiebreakers in semifinals. And now we're getting to showcase our tiebreaker here between the United States and South Korea. And I don't know. It's such a nice. It's so nice to see when we have such amazing players and the teams are able to form themselves in a way that allows us to have such entertaining and close matches.
Yeah, of course. And I just went back and checked, as you said, the recent match, South Korea versus Indonesia, was the first sweep we've seen in a while. Actually, the first sweep we've seen since quarterfinals. So it's been a very long time since we've seen a sweep, which is crazy to hear because normally that's something you'd expect in almost every round, but not here. And a lot of tiebreaker matches as well, a lot of really close ones. Shout out to matches like Chile versus Vietnam being decided in the last 2 seconds of the map. And,
what are you gonna do? You can't say enough about.
Yeah, I can't list all. There's too many good matches. I think
too many amazing matches. I mean, and we're talking about so many tiebreakers. That run from Thailand through this tournament, winning 3 tiebreakers in a row to make it into top 4. I don't know how you do that.
I was honestly hoping for another one. That would have been just absurd if Thailand managed to do one more tiebreaker against Indonesia to make it top 3, but not the case. And here we have it. I believe we're getting into it fairly soon now, this final tiebreaker that we're gonna see.
Yeah, one thing I do think is a little unfortunate about what happened in the grand finals here. We didn't get to see all of our custom songs in the 2 grand finals matches. We saw Cortex Charger, and we're going to see Parallel Universe Shifter here, but I do not think Hybrid 3 was ever played in at least the 2 matches. I think it might have been shown in the show match.
I think it was played in the show match. Yeah, it was played in the show match once, at the very least, so that's something. But yeah, unfortunately not played in either of the 2 matches we saw. Of course, South Korea versus Indonesia had no hybrids being picked whatsoever, so...
Yeah, 2 of the hybrids in this grand finals pool just went completely ignored.
Well, that's what happens sometimes. That's what happens sometimes. When you only have 2 matches, there's... Hybrids typically
there's a few, especially with the sweep in Indonesia. We only got to see 7 maps in that match total, but this one we got a little bit better of a show. 10 maps in the pool able to be played. Unfortunately, the Light Left Behind not being one of them, but we are going to be able to see Parallel Universe Shifter being played here by the champions United States and our runners-up South Korea.
Okay, let's see how this one ends up going. Very interested to see the scores in this one because, of course, this map is absolutely brutal. Already the first miss from Yonho there.
Yeah, early miss, but I think there's going to be lots of those in this map.
Yep. Yeah. There's going to be a whole lot, especially once you consider what the BPM gets up to, 400 and something on this map?
400, I think it's... Oh... I actually don't know what it maxes out at. I thought it was 400 for some reason, but it definitely isn't.
I think I remember 440 or something like that. Something absurd.
It's something up there. That ending goes absolutely hard. It's one of the craziest endings to a song I've seen, and it's nice to be able to see something like that made custom for this tournament.
Yeah, shout out to Camellia. Great job with the custom. And we're going to be seeing it here played by the best players we have in the tournament. Few misses coming out. Already a lot of combo breaks from both sides here. Still 2 full combos, actually. Tristan, Jacob, and Dev.
Well, there goes one of them.
Well, there comes the curses. We managed quite a few maps in a row without them.
And now all eyes on Dev to see how long... Nope, never mind.
Of course.
Of course. This is the best time for these curses. I was mad about them earlier because they just kept happening. But now it doesn't matter. There's no stakes in this tiebreaker, so we can curse them all we want.
No harm done at the end of the day. Big accuracy drop from Dev. This is really close actually between the two teams. 3,000 points. The difference as South Korea, I think, not quite an ACK lead. I think ACK parity between the two teams right now, but two misses now.
And South Korea actually takes a small lead after getting that combo back up. We do see a trade between ERA Dev and Yeonho there, but still 2 high combos to just 1 from Neptune on the United States side. Yeah, and that pattern definitely caught the United States off guard just a little bit.
Yeah, LN sections definitely favoring South Korea a little bit in those density parts. And Vanilla Latte finding a bit of a miss, but Dev, yeah, the accuracy drop is fairly significant now, so Tristan Jacob actually dropping accuracy quite a lot as well, down to below 99%, as South Korea still with 2 players above 99.
Yeah, these early sections definitely not favoring the United States. That lead actually jumps up to about 13,000, a little bit more now actually, with ERA Dev finding another drop. Yeonho trading it, Vanilla Latte finding a drop as well, but ERA Dev having a lot of trouble here. Actually, I think everyone's having a lot of issues.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's having trouble, understandably so. Also important to mention as well that I think all 6 players from both teams are playing this as well in the same lobby, so yeah, it's not exactly a 3-on-3. There's still, you know, maybe Cafecito is still holding a full combo, who really knows, right?
Yeah, it really is just like, we don't know if these would be the actual teams that we'd see in a tiebreaker. I don't know what 3 would be playing for each team.
I think YZ also has a very strong... I mean, I remember the showcase for the tiebreaker last week. I think YZ got a kind of ridiculously high score as well. So, I mean, pretty physically capable, you have to say, for sure. But with misses all around. Oh my god, look at these misses. Only Neptune and Vanilla Latte
being not Vanilla Latte anymore. Just Neptune.
Okay.
The final few patterns before our big break in this map, and South Korea going into the break with just under a 13,000 point lead. Time to build up some combos, get that stamina back before the absolute gauntlet that is the final quarter of this map.
Yeah, oh my god, that is going to be brutal. 12,000 points, still a decent lead for them, mostly coming off the back of the accuracy, it looks like. Neptune with the highest accuracy here, but the other players, Tristan Jacob, actually still beating 2 South Korean players, so it's mostly Dev is the difference in the accuracy between the 2 teams, and that's giving South Korea a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, definitely not a normal long note player, so I think that's probably the difference right now, is just that Dev's not as comfortable with the long note side of things. I imagine if this did go to tiebreaker, I imagine Cafecito's coming in for ERA Dev.
Cafecito or Hello Sun have been like the hybrid / LN players of United States mostly. So yeah, Dev definitely more of the Rice player. Makes a lot of sense that struggling on a little bit of the LN patterns here.
Yeah, and we're approaching another LN section here, so I can't imagine the US is going to be super comfortable with this. We do see about 4,000 combo from Neptune, but that is being matched with 2 2,400 combos from Vanilla Latte and Gay Soul there.
Yeah, Neptune is doing some gaming here. 99.57.
That is a pretty good accuracy.
That's all right.
We'll have to see how he's able to handle this ending when the difficulty of the Rice really starts to stack up. We do see a little bit of a combo reset from the entire South Korean team, but ERA Dev is finding lots of combo breaks here. Tristan Jacob
finally break that big combo, unfortunately, but still 99.54, king of clean misses here.
Yeah, I not much else to say. Holding onto the combo there.
Oh, okay, I choked that. I cursed that one a little bit. That was a bit of a dirty miss from Nep.
A little bit, dropping down to that 99.3, but here we go into this final little section here. 50,000 points in favor of South Korea from these 6 players on screen. We won't know actually how it all went, because like we said, 6 players, all players in the lobby for each team. So we'll be able to see a 6v6 score in the MP link after this match finishes up.
Yeah. Be sure to check out that MP link for when this one finishes. I'm interested to see what some of the other scores for both of these teams are, actually, but towards the end, everyone's struggling to hold on to the combo.
Yeah, these final patterns.
2 in the middle there. Yonho, Nebajin. Okay.
That's a nice curse from you.
Yeah, okay.
Now are we going to get Neptune cursed a little bit? The score is actually decreasing a tiny,
Nep has
tiny
a huge
bit.
combo. Would be a shame if he lost it right now.
Yeah, right when the hardest patterns in the map come around. Yeah. And I guess Neptune just hits those.
Yeah, apparently not. Okay.
Now, the last couple of patterns in the map.
Not going to be missing.
I think a 973 on this.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, that might
my
be.
God.
That's going to be really close between Nepajin and Muji there.
Okay, looking
Muji
at the
was
MP
slightly
link.
higher. Muji had a slightly higher score.
Oh, actually, YZ would have been the highest score on South Korea, and Cafecito, of course, being the second. So Nep, Cafecito, Tristan Jacob, YZ, Yonho, Vanilla Latte, and I think United States would have barely won that.
Yeah, well,
solely because of Nep.
Yeah, it would have been about 30,000 points in favor, but the United States with the 6v6 also does take the victory overall, but that is going to be the final map played for the Oceania 4Key World Cup 2023. More congratulations to the United States here for winning, as well as to South Korea for making it to second place in this tournament, and a special shout out to Indonesia for making it onto the podium, locking in that 3rd place position. We've talked so much about how amazing this tournament has been, but not much left to say now that we're starting to close things out.
Yeah, definitely an exciting tournament. I've had such a good time as well. So congratulations to all the players, and I guess we'll be signing off. I believe the next stream we'll be seeing from this channel will be related to OWC, whose registrations, I believe, are already underway.
Yes, registrations for the OSU World Cup have opened for the 2023 edition of the tournament. And I believe you are correct that the next stream on this Twitch channel should be the map pool showcase for the qualifiers for that tournament, unless there's a little special stream in between. I don't know if anything like that's going to happen, but I think I would expect the next stream to be that qualifiers showcase.
Yeah, so we will see you all for OWC. For all the Mania players out there as well, see you not too far away for the 7K MWC at the start of next year as well. So a few more tournaments on the horizon, but for now we'll be signing off here.
Yeah. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching this grand finals in this tournament as much as me and Potassium here have enjoyed commentating it for you. But I think with that, we are about ready to go. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys for OWC when that starts up in a few weeks.
Bye.